with Marcus Head.
Hey, everybody. Once again, thanks for tuning in to the Good Head Podcast Show. I'm your host, Marcus Head, and I have a special guest today. When I mean special guest, I've known this brother for over 20-something years, and I remember when I was just starting out, I remember catching him at the original Uptown Comedy Club in the Brookwood Square in Atlanta, and he was like the first big headliner that I ever was on the show with. Man, the brother's funny. He's been doing it for, I think over 30 years. I know I got into it. He was doing it. And I was doing it for about 23 years. So before I bring him up, I want you guys to check out this clip.
I'm trying to have fun, man. I just had a baby boy, which is kind of cool. Little baby boy. Hey, wait. No. Stop. He is ugly as fuck. What do you mean, ooh, wow? I'm the one that got to raise the little heels have eyes. Shut up. No, that motherfucker's hideous, man. Every time I show a picture of him, people go, ooh, that is a nice phone. So I know he's ugly. But his mother's ugly, so that makes sense, you know what I'm saying? You mean, oh, I'm the one that had to fuck that avatar. Settle down. See, I like ugly women. All you pretty women, who needs that? With your prettiness, pretty. I want an ugly chick. You know why? Because a pretty woman like that can leave you. But an ugly chick will hang in there as long as it takes. Hulk smash! And the only time an ugly woman gonna leave you is when she's flying to the river to get you fish with her feet just... Because you could check an ugly chick. You can't check no pretty woman. Try to check a pretty woman. Look at all you pretty women. You can't check them. You know why? Because they'll check you back with their prettiness. And women know that. Women, you know what I'm talking about. You use one finger like you're doing magic. Who the fuck do you think? Why do women do that? Oh, who you? Drizzle, drum. Bitch. Are you putting a hex? What the fuck are you doing? No, but when men get mad, we do karate for some reason. Shut the fuck up. We chop and then we measure. Bitch, I'm trying to explain something to you. You ain't listen to me. Listen to me, motherfucker. Chop. Build. Chop.
Man, what can I say? Hilarious. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce my friend. He's an actor. He's a radio personality, comedian. Man, the brother's been doing everything and still to this day is still relevant. So give it up for my man, Shang. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's up, man? We did the gig down in ATL, and it was crazy. But it was cool. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I loved it. But man, Atlanta crowds, they're fantastic. But you cannot step off the gas with those motherfuckers. Can you cuss? My bad.
Just keep it light. You can keep it light.
Yeah, that's why you see I caught myself. I said, motherfucker.
Just don't go Special K on me.
Okay, no, I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, Special K just left.
Yeah.
But nah, man, I've been blessed. The fact that the last time I had a day job was 27 years ago.
Damn, 27 years ago.
Yeah, I've basically been supporting myself, my extended family members off of jokes. So when I feel bad, I feel like, oh, I'm not really making it, I have to look at the fact, well, I am doing all right. I ain't gonna act like that's called bull. That's called bull. But I'm doing all right, but I just feel like, and I don't have a management or an agent, but I just got serious grind, and I'm able to get enough bookings to live pretty good.
So let's go ahead and get into this. We're here talking to the comedian, actor, radio personality, Shang. I asked all my comics this. Do you remember the first time you got on stage, and who was the comic that put the mic in your hand?
Was a comic named Rick Overton. This is way back in the day because, I'm old. And my first set actually went really, really well. Really, really well. And that's what made me come back. And then by my fourth set, I took it to the face like a champion. I mean, when I said, like, I misgauged the audience, went a little too edgy, and the crowd hated me. And then that made me mad. Like, yeah, I'm coming back, and I'm gonna do this for real, and I'm gonna show y'all. And that's the only reason I came back. I wouldn't have came back after that stinker, because I did really good the first three times. Like surprisingly, this is the first time you've ever done this. And then by the third time I got in my head too much, I was thinking, oh, I got to be like this. I got to be like that. And I sucked. I was horrible. But that fifth time, I kind of took my time, said, do the bits, let the bits live. Don't step off the bit. And it went okay. And then I ain't stopped since.
Cool. So is Rick still doing comedy?
Yeah, he's old cat now. He's old. I'm old cat, but he's older cat. You said he's been everywhere. He's an older white guy.
So it was a white club that you did. Your first time was in a white club.
So yeah. It was a white club, and then the first time I did a black club, I was grimy. Not anymore. But I was a grimy dude. So when I went into the club with the brothers, there was no problem. Everybody's like, man, like I just came up and like, cause I think because my set was so aggressive, they was like, oh, okay. And I did that because I was light skinned. I'm gonna keep it real. I think light skinned dude, like we go harder sometimes and be like, don't question my blackness, I'll knock you out. So, and I would really fight off stage too. So that was the other thing. People knew I was one of those dudes that had hands. So I didn't get heckled a lot. Put it that way. Like back in the day because I was real grimy, people really heck because I would say stuff like, wait till I get off the stage. All right, bitch. And then they thought, oh, he's joking. And I wasn't.
So you got that light-skinned Italian mafia talk look into you. So they was kind of thinking you was probably part of the mafia family.
No, I don't know about that. That's weird. No, I was real aggressive. Like, I'm so chill now. Somebody can call my mama a hoe, and I'd be like, yeah, she was kind of hoish. And I keep it moving. But now, before I was like so ready to fight anybody, anytime. And I think what happened was I lost a few fights, but I think what it was is my first time ever fighting people, at least in the streets. I won a lot. So I thought I could fight until you run into somebody that really could fight. And so I think that made me have a certain swagger. So when I went on stage, I thought, yeah, but because, I'm thinking, yeah, but I'll beat your ass. And, stupid. I was dumb. It's weird. I was a smart man with so many dumb, aggressive, trying to prove myself tendencies.
I got you. I understand exactly what you're saying. You're saying that it's been like 27 years since you had to work a real job. So since you've been doing it this long, can you remember what was the worst job you had before you started doing stand-up?
Security.
Even though you like to fight and you like to buck, security was the worst job.
Yeah.
Really? Why is that?
I don't mind like men, but when you do security, women were the worst. I did security at a couple nightclubs, couple security for a couple dudes that were pharmaceutical. I don't know if I can say it right. Yeah, drug dealers. Yeah, the women were the worst, and you can't beat up on women, so you had to take all the hits, like you tell them to get out because they had fighting each other, and me and two other dudes got to pick them up, and while you're picking them up, they socking you in the eye. I had black eyes from women, never from men.
Wow.
Men, I would talk to them. Like, we would talk to them like, yo, dude, the six of us is one of you. What do you think's going to happen? You ain't going to get through this. You're going to be scathed. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be, you know what I'm saying? You're going to have.
And they still went with it.
Yeah, like some brothers, like I talked to them. And also what helped me, I joke with them. When you joke with them, because I realized trying to be hardcore all the time. So I would joke with them and they'd be, man, you crazy. All right, man, I'm gonna go back in. I'm gonna do nothing stupid.
I got you.
So and then somebody's like, man, you need to get on stage, man, you crazy. And that's what made me part of it. And then also I needed $50, and a friend of mine bet me $50 I wouldn't go on stage at a club called Who's On.
Always a bet. Always a bet. A lot of comedians I know that did the dare or the bet thing.
Who's On First? I did a club called Who's On First. It was a club called Who's On First. They bet me. I went up and did it. They gave me the $50. I was like, oh, I got $50. I got paid for my first gig, even though it was a bet. But and I've been able to sustain myself doing stand-up. But I'm going to tell you, back at East Coast in New York, you can do a lot of gigs in one night. So I made money just enough to pay my rent. And I was like, pay my rent. I didn't have a lot of food, but I could pay my rent and I could buy my subway pass. And that's all. And I was good. I just didn't have Like now I'm bigger, but I'm saying now I had no food.
You remember them hard days?
I would go to the club early so I could eat. I'd ask them, you don't have to pay me, just give me something to eat. And I wish that was. It sounds sad. That sounds sad as hell. Please feed me.
That's crazy. So let me ask you, where did you realize that, okay, I'm funny. I know I'm funny, but man, I can really start doing this and making some money and making a name for myself?
3 years in.
3 years in.
Yeah, 3 years in. Also, when I got co-signed by some headliners that I really are the reason I'm doing it. Paul Mooney. I like this angry yellow nigga. I like what he's doing. I like the fact that he doesn't give a shit, and that's what he does. And so when he said that, I was like, I don't care what nobody say. And Dick Gregory, even though he was yelling at me all the time, really liked me. Even though he cussed me out half the time, he liked me. And then when John Witherspoon gave me some financial advice, and it worked about saving money. Like he used to tell me, if you get $100 gig, you really just got a $75 gig, because that $25 you should put away. So every gig I got, if it was $50, I really only made $25. Then I'll always take the money and put it away, because he told me this business is so up and down. Even right now, I'm headlining everywhere. I do a lot of shows. I still had that mentality because, when COVID hit, that smacked me in the face. But luckily, I had backup.
A cushion.
Yeah, I had a cushion. So,
wow, you just named 3 heavyweights in 3 different generations. Paul Mooney, we all know he discovered Richard Pryor and wrote for Richard Pryor. Dick Gregory was like, besides Red Fox, was like the first real old school pioneer that got on mainstream, and he was a political, he's like one of the first political comics. And then I would say John Witherspoon is probably one of the first older guys to merge with the younger generation, like on the Wayans Brothers, because you didn't see no old comic that was like modern, and I would think, he kind of transcended that, younger, older versions on TV. Do you remember the first time that you got your first paid gig? And also, it's a very funny story about when you was doing it and who you met, a big name star, after you finished, because he was in another room in the same room you was in.
Oh, George Wallace gave me my first real paid gig in LA. He couldn't make it to a gig, $500, which is massive to me. I got made $500. I went up to this mansion and did a show for these people, but it was supposed to be George Wallace, and he didn't even call me. He wouldn't call me Shang. He would call me New York. He go, hey, New York, why don't you go up here and do the show? And I was like, yeah. Like, I was freaked out in my head. I was like, George Wallace want me to do a gig. And then I went and did it. And then I met him back at the Comedy Store, and he gave me $500. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy.
Your first paid gig was $500 by George Wallace.
Yeah, it was like, what? And also what blew me away comedy wise, I was doing Catch a Rising Star. I was doing the Late Show because I wasn't good enough, I guess, or big enough or whatever to do the early show. I was on the midnight show at Catch a Rising Star. George Carlin was working the big room upstairs. The 5,000 people upstairs. I was doing about 22 people downstairs and in the basement at Catch a Rising Star. And he came down to watch me. And I saw this old white man in the back, and I thought, that looks like George Carlin. So I go to walk out to go up to my room, because you stay in the same place. And he grabbed my wrist real hard and said, I like you. You got balls big enough to come in a dumpster. And I was like, whoa. And I put that on the top of my resume for like 2 years. George Carlin says, I got balls big, because I was doing some real edgy, dark, political point of view stuff back then. I was really dark. And then and also Bill Hicks, comic named Bill Hicks, white boy named Bill Hicks out of Texas.
Wow, what an incredible story.
But no, that was my first paid gig in LA, because I was getting paid in New York. I got Bert Smooth used to book me at a place called Nels.
Let's keep it real. That was the first time you saw some real money.
No.
Oh, really? You had $500 gigs before that?
Not for one show, but yeah, I was a host and I was featured a lot before I was headlining. So I was getting 500 to feature, but not to hit Hollywood and LA. And like, what?
So we're here talking to Shang, a hilarious, funny entertainer who lives in California right now. And Shang, what's the difference between you doing comedy 20 something years ago and you doing comedy now with all the media, all the way things, the people are like, comedy is so saturated now, people have expectations. You better be funny. So
why you make it sound like a threat? You better be funny. And if you ain't funny, we gonna duct tape your mama. It's like, yeah, the way you said that.
I remember them days, bro. I remember them days. They be like, give it up for Marquis Head. And they like, Marquis, who the hell is Marquis Head? Where the hell is George Wellborn? Where the hell is Smokey D's? Where the hell is Shane? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got some good questions. Let me tell you something, young blood. You with your little fancy ass questions. Yeah.
Hey, I try to do my thing, man.
No, you do your thing. The difference now is social media. If you got a big social media following off of TikTok or Instagram or anything, you are a bigger name act. Like I know guys that smoke me. They don't smoke me on stage, but they smoke me in the social media, and I give them props. There's some cats I used to not look at as good. Now I think they're good because I think Country Wayne wasn't a stand-up comic. But then once he made the transition and put in that work, now he's a full-blown stand-up comic. Desi Banks, I did a show with at the Laugh Factory. Very impressed that he really getting up there and working on his craft. But he has 7 million followers. He's huge, and he, selling real estate, millionaire. I don't know if they're millionaires, but I would imagine.
No, yeah.
And so it is about social media. That's what it's about more than anything, and it's more than even the funny. I see some people that I don't believe are strong comics, or if you have some quirk about you, like if it's like, oh, I'm a transsexual, or oh, I'm gay. That's my hook, and I'm not trying to diss gay people, and I don't want gay people coming at me about it. But what I'm saying is, the problem I have with some gay entertainers is they lead with gay instead of lead with their talent. It's like, but I'm gay. I didn't ask you that. Like, do you like apples? Talk about something. Like, I like women and ass, but I think the first thing I talk to you about. And so to lead with that constantly and not lead with, I'm very funny. I got a good set. I know how to do 45. And tell you, like, I don't care who you sleep with. Be funny.
I got you.
Like with women, I'm not like that. When women comics ask me to open, I'm like, you better be funny. I don't care you fine. I don't care if you're funny. I don't care if you got a big ass. You better I'm about that. Get on stage about the craft. And luckily for me, it worked out because I was a little too artsy before. I was too into like subvert. Like I wanted to be that underground, like hip hop artist kind of comedy where I wasn't on the mainstream. I loved that for a while. But then I realized, yo, man, the bag is bigger with the mainstream. But I didn't change.
I got you.
I'm still edgy as I was. I got some jokes now that people already told me. Last night, I said something about, I called this lady Lil Tits. That's her Indian name, Lil Tits. And she's like, you don't talk about a woman like that.
If the tit fits.
Huh?
If the tit fits, then hey.
If the tit fits. In fact, that's a new T-shirt. If the tit fits, you must have quit. I don't think the quit part you got to add in there. But yeah, man.
Hey, I got a question for you. Let's, switching gears. So you got the comedy going, you on the road, you hitting all this stuff. And I mean, you done been in some major places. You've been in Carolinas, Gotham. You done did all the headlines, the punchlines, the funny bones, and everything else. So tell us, when did you decide to transition into radio? And when is the first time you met Earthquake? And how'd you guys make the Earthquake show happen?
I met Earthquake in Atlanta. I did. The reason I even came to Atlanta is because of Earthquake. I just known him for years, saw me do a couple sets, and then Kenny Wack, who's one of the people that books all of the comics, I've been on, brought me on, and me and Quake, because we're similar and been doing it a long time, and age. So we meshed. That's what I believe. And I've been on it for 5 years. LOL Radio, Sirius XM, Quakeshouse for 5 years. So, and it helps me. And I've been on shows where they come and they go, "We come to see you because we listen to you on Quakeshouse." I was like, wow, okay. And I was doing radio before that with Dash Radio. Me and a brother named Black Pedro had a show called Savage AF. And we talked about, it was mostly political. It was mostly political. We would do some frivolous stuff, but mostly like funny, making fun of politics, making fun of, and Trump gave us 4 years of just absolute gold material. We had a pretty good following. And then Dash, when the COVID hit, Dash took a L.
Shout out to Earthquake, and shout out to Kevin Hart for putting that show together for Earthquake. So definitely shout out to Quakeshouse.
And also shout out to Chappelle for putting on Quake on his Netflix special called Legendary. And if y'all get a chance, make sure go watch Earthquake's special on Netflix. And if you get a chance, I got a special on Amazon Prime and Apple TV and Tubi called Shangri. Shang is Shangri live in New York City.
I checked that out. I actually seen that. It's no lie. And I'm not a person that watches comics, because, I used to be a comic. And so, we don't watch comics. And we especially not going to watch nobody's damn special unless it's like Richard Pryor or Eddie Murphy or Chris Rock.
Unless it's the big boys.
The big boy. But no, it was funny. And I love your comedy because you can do any room at any time. And I've seen you, like I said, I've been on enough shows with you to where I've seen you and I'm just sitting back like, man, he killing this room. And it's an all just black ghetto room. And then you killing this room. It's an all right. Oh my God, he is so damn funny. You know what I mean?
Why did you do the voice?
So I'm not gonna lie to you. I kind of watched your style and everything else and saw how you did the rooms and everything else. And that got me in the punchline and got me on cruises and and I opened up for Ron White and that's how my career really took off. So, I applaud you, man.
That's excellent. I met him twice.
He's a straight prick. He's funny. He's cool. I ain't gonna say he a prick. That's who he is. I'll just put it like that. That's who he is.
He's abrasive.
He's very abrasive. When I first opened up for him at Columbia House in South Carolina, I know you remember that room.
Yeah.
I remember he had just did the Blue Comedy Tour, and Steve Harvey and him had just did theirs as well. And he said, "All right, when you bring me up, because I was hosting, he wants me to say the highest grossing comedy tour of all time." And I said, I can't do that because Steve Harvey and him is the highest grossing. So we got into it about that. Then when I got on stage, I was funny, I was raunchy, and you know how he is. He like after the show, he's like, come here. He said, look, he's smoking a little cigarette.
Yeah.
If you get back on stage and do that crap you did, your black ass is going home. This is exactly what he said to me. And I looked at him and I laughed. And I know that he couldn't replace me because I was under contract with Columbia. So I knew he just couldn't kick me off. You know what I mean? Well, he probably could, but I know that, he couldn't just get rid of me like that. So I went back and I went harder the next time. I mean, I went hard and I was killing him. And I used to do that joke, when Black Rob had the song Whoa came out. When I say, if you got bad credit, let me hear you say, whoa. If you got bad kids, let me hear you say, whoa. So
in the crowd,
whoa. So by the time he came out and he said something funny, real funny, they said, whoa. And he really didn't like that. So then, we had another conversation. And then I thought to myself, you know what? I need to check my ego because they come in here to see him. So I get what he's saying, tone it down a little bit. So I changed my style a little bit and he liked it. And then, like I said, started taking me on the road with him. So just goes to show you, and I don't mean to take up too much time because this is about you.
No, it's a great story because I've only met him twice and I just thought, oh, he's just in his bag. And like, if we wasn't doing comedy, because we were doing it was called the Comedy Roast. We were the judges, me, him, and Jeff Ross. And I met him. I talked to him for a minute, but also I told him. He said something off the cuff to me. I told him. I said, you know what? You don't have security,
right?
And then he went, oh. I went, exactly.
Yeah. No, he's one of them country boys. He is one of them country boys. Funny as hell though, but he is one of the country boys, and I got to show him love. I got to give him love, and I got to show him love because, like I said, he opened my career up to where I was opening up in stadiums for him, and the big boy comedy clubs and stuff like that. And it gave me a lot of exposure. So shout out to him.
How did you like doing the cruises? How do you like that?
Man, you know what? Before all this COVID and stuff, I didn't like it. I really didn't. And you know why I didn't like it? It's because when we do on the road, we got all day. So what's the three things we do when we on the road in another town? We watch cartoons, we sleep all day, and we go to the mall. Those are the three things that we always do, as comics.
Definitely go to the mall. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely got to go to the mall. So when I was on that cruise, I just didn't like it because, all day, we sitting around, waiting and everything else. Yeah, it's fun to do the cruise. But bruh, after, you get on the cruise, it's lit. So I was tired by the time it's time for me to get on stage, man, because I was drinking. You can eat for free. That was the first time in my life I ever been somewhere where I can just eat buffet style free anytime I wanted. So I went crazy, bro, and going out there on the deck and hanging out. And, when you get off on the cruise, you can go out, like it was in Virgin Islands.
Right. I did. Yeah, I've done a couple cruises.
So I was tired, man. And I was like, man, I got to check my lifestyle. You know what I mean? So I didn't like it because the buildup was so long where you had to wait, and you've been on cruises. So, you got to wait all day. And it's like 2:00 in the morning, because I wasn't ahead, it's like 2:00 in the morning by the time you go home. And everybody on the cruise is liquored up, first of all, So yeah, I didn't like it, man. I didn't do too many of them. I love colleges though.
I used to do a lot of colleges. I used to do really well at colleges. Right now, I like theaters. I've been doing more theater this last year than I've ever done.
When's the next time you going on tour or going on tour? Anybody? Or you have anything coming up?
I don't have any tour coming up. I got dates coming up. I got Vegas coming up. I got a lot of dates, and I got some corporate gigs because they're big money. But I'm trying not to do as many tours because I toured a lot last year when the pandemic broke open. When people could go back out, I went crazy. And now what I'm doing is I want to stay around LA and really court more new industry because the older industry know me and they definitely mess with me. You know what I'm saying? They're like, yo, we gonna put you on this. We're gonna have you do this voiceover. We're gonna have you do this radio. But I want to get that younger industry audience, and so that's why I got to stay around because out of sight, out of mind with younger audience. I think like the OGs, they know what's funny. They know what's up. They book you on shows. They book you because they know that you got a track record. Now the younger audience is more like, well, what's your TikTok following? What's your Instagram following? They don't care about TV credits. I can say, well, I've been on HBO Def Jam. I've been on the Late Show. I've been on the Late Show. I've been on all these shows, and they don't care. They're like, how's your social media? So I want to get that going.
Country Wayne and DC Fly have taken the media game to a whole new level.
Yeah, they're killing it. I met DC Young Fly too. I met him. He was so nice to me. He's a name, and come up very like energetic. Hey, OG man, mad respect, blah blah blah. All the comics love you, man. But like real nice, and it made me feel like all these young cats, and most of the young cats give me mad respect, and not all of them, but I say 99%. I mean, real respectful.
Have you ever worked with like Kevin Hart or Eddie Murphy or Chris Rock?
Chris Rock, yes, just once. And then I met Eddie Murphy. He was super chill, super cool. Kevin Hart, many times off stage. Yeah, I've done like clubs with him, but that was about it.
I got a funny Kevin Hart story. The first time I ever went on stage, Bruce put the mic in my hand. It was him. Ricky Harris was on the show. I'm finna say a couple of names that I know you're gonna be like, damn. Chocolate was on the show. Chris Charles. I don't know what the hell Chris Charles is at, but Chris Charles was on the show.
I remember Chocolate and Chris Charles, Mr. Smoothie.
And Kevin Hart was there. And it was at the Cognac Theater on 10th Street. I know you remember that. And I remember I went up and did Fire Marshal Bill. And I can kill. Let me show you something. Somebody walking down the street. And everybody loved it, laughed. And then after that, I had nothing, bro. Nothing. So I started talking about Bruce. Because, Bruce had on one of them checkered shirts. And I told him he'd like a overgrown Richie Cunningham. And they didn't like it. So, I just shot down. So I'll never forget it because Kevin Hart was there, and he, when I was getting off stage, he said, "Man," he said, "you got it." He said, he got it," and he said, "Now that shit you just did right there, that wasn't it, but you got it." So he said, "Keep up and keep doing it." And Bruce gave me some encouragement too. And I didn't do comedy for a month after that because I had to get my confidence up. But I always remember that. And when I do see him, because I know he ain't gonna remember me and remember that, but he'll probably remember it. But I know he ain't gonna remember me. But I definitely want to give him a shout out for those words of encouragement.
Yeah, no, Kevin is at least from all the times I've been around him, and I'm up at the radio station. That's his pretty much.
Yeah,
At his facility. We do the show at his facility, and so he has a big, giant facility up in the valley. And every time I seen him in New York. I was working on my special. He was working on his special, and talked to me. He gave me his number. I saw him about 5 months ago. He just was like, "Yo, man, get my number for sure." And I gave him my text. And he said, "Yo, make sure you check out my clip of my special." And he was working on his new stuff. And so he's always been cool. And the thing is with us comics, I know there's comics that have beef and be like, "Yo, I don't like this." I clown Gerard Carmichael a lot, but I don't dislike the man. I don't know the man. I just clown him for I go for the silence, long pauses, trying to be reflective and not being funny in my book.
What did you think of his Golden Globe? Because it was like crickets and silence and people were cringing when he was talking about certain subjects.
I thought it was exactly that. And I think that it was cringy and silent, and he's always silent. He gets silenced all the time. And I don't know what changed him, because when I first saw him, the first 10 minutes of his material, I've only seen him do 10 minutes. And I thought he was awesome. And then after that, I saw him and I don't know, he got in this weird bag and he's just.
At least he didn't get slapped. You know what I mean?
But Chris Rock, that slap is making him gazillions.
Oh man, it's going crazy. And he knows exactly what to do with it too. Definitely.
Oh yeah, he's doing a live special coming up on Netflix. I saw one of the jokes he said. They called him Shook Smith. He's calling Will Smith Shook Smith. And yeah. So I'm hoping that he goes in a little bit on it. But like every comic knows, Will would have smacked me.
No, I got it. Yeah. That's why he went up there and did it. But he took it on the chin like a G. I ain't never seen nobody get slapped like that. And stand up straight, keep the composure, and keep it moving. So I don't think I can't name too many people that would did that. Could you imagine if he went up to Corey Holcomb and did that?
Yeah, it'd have been hands. I'm telling you, I would have moved some furniture. It'd have been like cut to commercial. Me and Will about to get it on, and so I know how I am. It'd have been Will's getting his ass beat. So I mean, because I know Will can box from training for Ali, but I mean your legs can't box. So I would have definitely took his legs out. But that's aggressive, unnecessary. I'm not gonna do that. I ain't that man. I like comedy. I got nice linen in my house now. I got nice linen. I'm a vegan now, which you could have never told me that. I'm a vegetarian. You know what I'm saying? So all I need now is to meet some woman that can deal with me being so busy. That's the one thing I gotta admit that I've all my career and all my life. Women like the upside of me, but not the work side of me, because they don't realize it's work. At least the ones I've been with, they don't realize that I'm gonna be on the road. That's how I'm gonna pay for your truck. I'm gonna be on the road so I can take care of everything, and you don't have to pay for anything.
But let me ask you this. We all know we can't do this forever. We can't play football forever. We can't play basketball ever. And we know we can't be funny getting our old asses up there trying to do comedy. And that's why I became a director and I'm doing movies now. But let me ask you this. What is your future outside of comedy? What is the future for Shang to keep moving, stay in the business? Is it radio? Is it acting? Is it you having your own radio show, podcast? Or have you not even thought of it yet?
Sex trafficking. I'm looking into a lot of. Nah, man, hold up. Don't judge me. Hold up, Mr. Director. Listen, that's where they say get mad. They go, yeah, Mr. Director, Mr. Producer. And all I'm saying is the actual label you are, and they think that's an insult. But no, I'm not sex trafficking, at least not for now. Maybe if
That's a
things start
touchy
going
subject. You
bad.
better watch yourself on that.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be producing other people, letting them do their thing, and I've already done that. I've already produced stuff for E Entertainment, for BET, for American TransUnion TV, which is basically syndicated television across the board. Shows like Shark Week, Best Week Ever, and stuff like that. I've been produced, stuff like that. I've done a lot of that.
So do you have a lot of connections with, like, say that directors like myself or comedians or actors, once they put a project together and, present it to you, you can get it on one of those networks?
I try. I mean, but lately, my pandemic put me in an L when it came to that. That's why I think I focused on my stand up more, because a lot of the people quit the business. The people I used to mess with quit the business because it was rough. And even one of my producers that used to live in New York moved to Nashville. It was like, I can't afford being out in New York. I can't afford LA. And so, but a lot of the people that the connects I have with distributors, in fact, one of the distributors in Atlanta, the person that distribute my special is in Atlanta.
Okay, because I live in Florida, but I have a production in Atlanta, and actually, I'm about to move back to Atlanta. That's just where it's at, man. That's just
Atlanta's off the chain, man.
yeah, it
Don't
is.
get it twisted. Atlanta's off the chain. So yeah, I mean, I connect the right people. There's a couple of producers. I'm working with a production company named Woodpack that I'm working with that have worked with Mark Wahlberg and stuff like that. The white boys. And I don't mean to say it like that, but it is pretty much the white boys.
No, I got you. I know exactly what you're saying. So we're here with the funny, hilarious Shane. Before we get you out of here, I want to, I got to ask you this question. You've done comedy, you've done acting, you've been on the radio, you've met so many comedians, from young to old. What type of show would you go sit down and pay? Would you want to sit down and watch a comedy show? Would you want to just sit back and listen to a podcast? Or what do you do on your off time? What do you like to do when you're not on stage, when you're not doing comedy and you're not watching a movie?
Hang with my son. We used to hang with both my sons, but my other son's with his mom now, which that it is what it is. But I I'm trying to relearn that because I was so busy and running so much that it consumed me. So I'm trying to get back to what do I like to do when I'm not doing this? You know what I'm saying? Because it takes up a lot of time when you're like, if you're producing something for somebody, you got to stay on top of the shit. You got to stay on top of the money. You got to make sure that they doing everything they can do, and then you step back and let them do their thing. Especially if you find like somebody like you that's going to be a director producer, you got to get them in a position, and then once in a position, you got to go. I'm out, and let them follow the creative, whatever the muse is. But for me, I'm going to start doing much more. I like really just, I know this sounds corny, and don't nobody say nothing to me about it. I like going bike riding.
Okay. That's healthy. Hey, that's a good exercise and it's healthy.
I like just down on the beach and just by myself, bike riding. I still love going to see movies. I still want to go see John Wick, which looks good as hell, the new one.
Wait, they got a new one besides the one they just did a year ago?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. I've been so busy writing and with production. I ain't even
see see what I mean? When you get so busy that you go, oh, I didn't stop it.
But no, well, see, I got a wife, so my wife gonna make sure I make time for stuff. So
oh well, yeah, that's different. See, I'm not. Yeah, I'm single, so I think that I'm starting to make time to find different things I enjoy. I still got a lot on my plate. I got a lot of shows coming up. We're doing some stuff we did some stuff for the midterms. I was really involved with that for the midterms, where before they had Rock the Vote, basically getting the information out to young people, let them know that your vote counts, especially Black folks. I was really involved in that. So that took a lot of my time, and I do actually enjoy that. So I can say I enjoy that, and I enjoy that and helping mentor young brothers. So I do enjoy. That part
all right, cool.
is not really business for me. That's more like, and it's weird to be an OG now. That a lot of comics talk to me or ask me advice, And they're like, how'd you don't have a manager? You don't have an agent? How'd you get on HBO? How'd you get on uh, how'd you get on NBC without no help?
Because everybody go through the process. You know what I mean? You took the undercut road and you just took your talent. Like Sinbad. Sinbad used to call clubs and say, I'm Sinbad's manager, and he just finished doing the improv and he just wanted to know, that's how Sinbad started getting in clubs. He used to call and pretend he was an agent and they would book him through that. He would send tapes in because, you can't send tapes in no more. You know what I mean? So it's more about recommendations and stuff like that. But man, I really appreciate you, man. So I'm finna go ahead and do a segment we call Ask the Guest. So I'm gonna ask you a few questions.
It ain't about that hooker. Don't ask me about the hookers.
No, it ain't about that. No, we ain't gonna talk about that one. That's for the next one.
Remember, we talked and said we ain't gonna talk about the dead hooker up in.
No, we ain't gonna talk about that.
Woo.
All right, so I'm gonna give you a couple of questions. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
What's your favorite cereal?
I don't eat cereal anymore, but it was Cracklin' Oat Bran.
Cracklin' Oat Bran. I've never heard of Cracklin' Oat Bran. What the heck is that?
Why you saying
Is that a California stuff? You drink unicorn smoothies or something? I mean, what's going on?
Sometimes, I like sparkling. I like sparkling water milk. Nah,
Okay,
man.
Market milk. Wow.
Cracklin' Oat Bran is it's Cracklin' Oat Bran. I mean,
Okay.
I'm old. Now, I mean, when I was younger, it was sugar.
These are your answers. I ain't gonna judge you. All right, next question.
When I was younger, it was Sugar Pops.
Sugar Pops. Okay, now I'm cool with that. All right, Prince or Michael Jackson?
Prince all day, every day, all day, because Prince was far more talented than Michael Jackson. And I wish somebody say something, because I'm going to put cases on all you mother. No,
Now, I ain't gonna lie to you. Prince is my favorite too, because he played all the instrument and he was a true entertainer. Michael's an entertainer too, but it's just people don't realize that Prince was that dude. You know what I mean? And he did everything. The music, yeah, Michael wrote his music, but that was it. Michael did the music and but Prince did everything. Everything. And you're judged by the people around you. Look at the people around him: Sheila E., Patrice Rushen, The Time. You know what I mean? Tevin Campbell. So you just look at all the people that
you can keep going. Sinead O'Connor.
Sinead O'Connor. Nothing compares to you.
The Bangles' #1 hit was Prince written.
Yeah, Prince wrote a lot of songs for people, right? And then he did movies, and he produced those movies. You know what I mean? Man, I mean, hey, I can go on all day. Next question: if you were stuck on a desert island and you can only take 4 things with you, what would those 4 things be? And you can't get off the island, so don't say a plane and a stewardess.
See, so people always say that.
You can't get off the island. You stuck on the island.
If I can't since you done made it a horror movie, you can't get off the island. Like, damn, man, you have to eat your own foot if you want to get off the island. But I gotta bite in my own testicle to get off this island.
Yeah, Forrest Gump is not there with you to show you how to light a stick.
I've always loved my life. 4 things. We can't include a woman.
You can kill a woman.
I would include a woman. I like. There's so many beautiful women, but I would include Rosario.
You gotta have somebody with a Marsha Brady attitude, because you don't want to have nobody just sit. That's a funny bit right there. That's yours if you want it. That's a funny ass bit.
Yeah, that actually. Yeah, Rosario Dawson. I would take her.
Rosario Dawson. Okay, I wasn't expecting that one.
Yeah, I would take a bunch of seeds so I can grow my own food and make sure that me and Rosario eat. I would take definitely a big thing of tools so I could build all the stuff I need to build for us and for me and Rosario, so we can have a little.
All right, you got one more.
One more. My last one would be unlimited. Since obviously we're on the island, we don't have the internet. I would bring VHS, large screen TV, and a cache of a whole bunch of movies.
You just said like 6 things.
But it would be all one package.
I got you. The digital package on VHS.
I would want that, because me and Rosario, after I grew her some food and fed her pineapples, we could sit and watch a whole bunch of old movies together because we're going to be on the island until we die, apparently, because we don't got no plane.
That's funny. That's funny. So, man, I like to say, brother, I appreciate everything, and it's good talking to you, man. And before we get out of here, let everybody know where they can follow you and your social media contacts.
If y'all don't follow me on social media, your feet thinking you don't love your baby Jesus. I need you to follow me on Instagram, Comedian Shang, Shang. And again, I'm the one with the blue check. I'm not the other dude that made me is not me. That's not me. I'm the Shang blue check, Comedian Shang. And my website is iamshang.com. Make sure you check out the special Shangri on Amazon Prime, Apple TV, and Tubi. Going to be doing another special coming up. Laughs by Any Means Necessary coming up. And I'm going to be doing some more stuff that I'm going to be actually dealing with YouTube Red. And if you get a chance, got this movie called Interception. It's going to be on Apple TV coming up. So,
all right, man. Hey, much love, man. I appreciate the time and I appreciate you doing this, bro.
You still funny. You're very funny with the things you do.
All right, man. I appreciate you.